Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Thank you for the 5 people that have subscribed and 42 people that have viewed our ridiculously long Slipknot video. I don't know what people have said to you about it, but I've had one criticism off it.
No, I've had nothing but positive reviews.
Alright, but one criticism that I got given on it wasn't even an actual criticism, to be fair.
Ruffling paper.
Yeah, that were it.
So you went for the logical thing.
I've got it on my phone this time.
I write it all down.
The way going forward with it, like I said to you, we'll just take pages out of the book and we'll have them across like that.
Which is why I did it on a 1 page this time.
Logic. But what we're doing this time is, because we thought there's nothing really to review, because we're not going to review singles, because there's no point reviewing a single, then going into an album and reviewing the same song again, which is why we didn't do it with the Slipknot album. So we've done something interesting this time, and it was your idea, actually.
Yeah, pick 3 songs for each other to listen to and see what we thought of them. From the weird to the weird.
Well, my approach to it was different to yours.
I went for stuff that were released within the last couple of weeks or so. Mine were quite new tracks.
Yeah, you went for bands that I like anyway, and the songs I hadn't heard to. Yeah. Whereas I've given you people and bands that you know,
but don't
listen to.
Yeah.
So, would you want to go first or me?
Well, we'll start with me. We'll start with your one of
Ihsahn. Ihsahn, who's the guitarist and vocalist of the black metal band Imperii.
Oh, right. With a song called Arcana, Imperii?
No idea, I'm not butchering Norwegian.
It was hard enough reading the thing, never mind actually. I put it was a good riff. I enjoyed the opening riff to it. I enjoyed it musically. I think musically it was really good. I thought the voice, I found it quite a generic for that style of music. It's not my thing anyway, but after 2 minutes it changed. But I don't know, I was hoping for something a bit more grittier, a bit more raw rather than what he gave. Which
I understand, because we have spoken about Emperor and Ihsahn before.
Yeah.
So I think thinking back from it coming from, it was in a black metal band, it was all raw. Yeah. You'd expected something not as produced.
Yeah, I mean, also I said that the solo was decent. It was a very nice solo, but it was nothing revolutionary. It's a generic solo. I mean, overall, as a metal track, yeah, for me, a lot of bands are doing the same sort of thing. But like I said, I didn't know he was an Emperor, so you can sort of see that it's not something I'd revisit. It was a decent track to listen to. If you're into that sort of genre, yeah, you'll probably love the song. For me, it sounds like I've heard it a million times. You've heard some of the stuff I find on YouTube, and it's like I've heard it done by X band, Y band, Z band, and P band, and they've all done it. And I just felt that's where I was with that one. Wasn't something I'd take. But if you're into that music,
I would say that's why I picked Ihsahn and the other song that I picked for you.
Yeah.
Because they both came from black metal and death metal bands.
Yeah.
And came to do their own stuff and did what they wanted to do instead of doing what their band does.
Yeah.
Because I also picked Kingdom by Devin Townsend for you.
You did.
And I've played you Strapping Young Lad before. You've heard Devin Townsend stuff before, and it sounds nothing like what Devin Townsend actually does.
Should we pick one of mine then for you to review, and we'll just go back and forth?
Yeah, I'm sound with that.
More interesting.
Well, we'll go with the one I didn't write notes for, because we've both been a fan of Code Orange from
day one.
I won't say day one, because
as soon as we heard the Bleeding in the Blur on Scuzz,
the second album,
that's when we both sort of went, we need to find out more about these. Heard the album, we're like, I don't know how to describe this.
Well, yeah, this is how I've got to with this song. If you want to give some backstory into it, because there is a specific reason you picked this song and a specific reason how you found this song.
Yeah, so basically, I'm a massive wrestling fan. My absolute favourite guy is Bray Wyatt. When he came back at SummerSlam, he debuted a new theme. The theme was the original Mark Crozer and the Reels version of Living Fear, but Code Orange have covered it, and I just looked at it and went, wow, what have Code Orange done to this? I was a massive fan of the original version, but this one just blew it out the water, so I lost my mind when this. I didn't even realise it was Code Orange at first, and I loved it. And then all of a sudden it's Code Orange, and like, yeah, I can see Code Orange doing this, and they've done a wonderful job. So that's where it's come from. It's actually called Let Him In by Code Orange.
And that is why
you found it difficult to find the original.
That's why I couldn't find the original, because I've never heard the original before.
Yeah, and I've just played it to you, 5 minutes ago?
Yeah, and I'm still in a place of not having notes for it, because there's no way to describe Code Orange.
No, there isn't.
Code Orange are a thing in themselves.
Yeah.
But if you're talking specifically about this cover, I don't think you could actually call it a cover with what Code Orange have done to it. They basically stripped down the whole song and made it their own, which I think is the way you should do covers, but they've taken it a step beyond, and like, it sounds like they wrote it.
Yeah, it's one of them for me with this song in particular. I think the casual fan like yourself will like it, but there's people like me out there who hears the littlest things in there, which brings me back to the wrestling side of it, because there's a bit at the end, I don't know if you heard it, where he goes, "I'm sorry for what I did." There's been a lot of promos that Bray's done in the last weeks building up to this debut, and he did that sort of stuff. So they've kind of taken what Bray Wyatt did in the Firefly Funhouse and the song and gone, let's have a baby.
So I really appreciate that they actually put samples of his quotes into the song. Like,
it just added to the eeriness, and
it's what made it step apart from being a song that you'd put on an album and a song that you'd use in any sport event as an intro theme. Yeah. Because a lot of them is we just put a song there and then you've got whoever announcing it. Whereas with this, it can be one of those things where the commentator doesn't have to say anything until he's got to the actual centre stage.
Well, what I'll do later is I will actually show you the entrance that he did.
Yeah.
I mean, to put it into perspective, obviously the YouTube views is a big thing. Yeah. But this entrance had 2.6 million views within a day.
Link in the description if nobody's actually seen it.
Yeah, it's something definitely to look out for.
But as half-assed as that, like, review of the Code Orange song would be, at the end of the day,
you have to check it out.
There's no way you can actually review Code Orange. You have to experience Code Orange for yourself.
And seeing them live, it's just next level. You can't even begin to describe that.
It's like we saw them with Trivium. Yeah. Like, it was on the
Sin and the Sentence tour.
Sin and the Sentence tour. I'm trying to figure out what the Code Orange album were called.
Good question. Free Night? Not Free Nights. I said
no,
that
Free
last time
Nights
is the EP.
Yeah, that's the EP.
Would it Bleeding in the Blur? What it that?
No, that's not what the album was called.
What it New Reality? I'm just naming.
That's another song off the album.
Code Orange. It's called Forever.
Forever. Like, we saw
the EP were ironically called The Hurt Will Go On.
Yeah, it was.
There we go. Completely wrong on all my information.
But if you listen to Code Orange, like, you can only make your own assumption about them. There's no way to actually review Code Orange.
They're brilliant. So the next song I would like to present is your choice, which is Put You Down by Alice in Chains.
I knew you were going to avoid Devin Townsend on purpose with the middle song.
Well, I have done this for a reason as well, so we'll get into that. So, I put some great intensity from drums, blended well with the vocals. It sounded like heavy metal meets, like, I don't know, it sounded like it met the West End, that sort of... Oh, no, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong notes here. Where am I? I'm up here, that's it. It opens with punchy and pretty awesome guitaring. The riff's cool, the drumming adds to it. I appreciate the vocals, but as great as a vocalist as Lane is, and I'm not saying he's not, I just couldn't get into it because of his vocals.
Yeah.
I mean, they are very unique. I put here it was a nice change of pace, and I don't know, I just didn't like how the song ended. That was the killer for me. It just like it seemed to go stop.
Yeah.
Whereas I like a nice either. Some people hate the drawn out endings, but I like it to have a finish rather than just a stop. I put it's a decent track, not something I would listen to, but you know, not liking the vocals. But I'd say check it out if you like that sort of genre. Fair enough, but I'm not the biggest. I only like Them Bones, but I'm that guy. I only like Them Bones.
But
that's like so different to everything else that they did, pretty much.
I want, like, as time went on, it wasn't like Them Bones made them grunge.
Yeah.
But the reason I picked that song is because the Facelift album was their first album.
Yeah.
And it was very metal-like. They had a song called I Know Something, which was like sort of jazz fusion sort of bullshit on it. And then the reason I picked that song is because you're a big fan of Guns N' Roses.
I am, and I could hear the Guns N' Roses influences in it.
And when I explained it to you, it was like the song was actually before Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
I could see why you think the vocals don't fit, but that's because you had all Guns N' Roses before listening to that song.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where it's hard, because I've listened to a lot of music from that era.
Yeah.
Because I've listened, obviously, from Van Halen, who were still doing stuff around that time, right the way through to like the later people like Skid Row, them sort of people. And Guns N' Roses were probably the most successful. Well, they are the most successful, but I know you could hear influences. Maybe actually a really weird one you could compare it to is very, very early Pantera. I'm talking before Phil Anselmo joined like the hair metal era.
Yeah.
You can sort of see where them two bands were sort of coming from with that song and what they did.
You can see it though as like, if you listen to the full album back, you can see it as like, obviously a serious song, this is a cool song to fit into it.
I can imagine that.
Because everything else Alice in Chains did, you're like, this isn't Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
But that's why I picked it on purpose, because of hair metal Guns N' Roses link to it. Because it's quite interesting to see, even if a band is taking the piss or not, like what they actually do with it. And if it wasn't Lane, you'd probably be able to say it was anyone but Alice in Chains.
Yeah, probably. Shall we move on to another one that I picked for you? Maybe the Stereophonics one?
I was going to go with the Stereophonics one because I am quite a big fan of Alter Bridge anyway.
Yeah, you are now.
I am now.
As of the last 2 months.
But the Stereophonics song is called Fly Like an Eagle. It's off the new album that's either out or coming out soon.
It's coming out soon.
Coming out soon.
Yeah.
And the first thing I actually put about it was, it sounds like Stereophonics.
Yeah, it definitely has the Stereophonics vibe to it.
I said it was a good thing, but it also had a massive change of sound in alternative music. Like, the stuff they did, like, dumbed down, unplugged, acoustically, that sort of stuff. It was very different to the big tracks that, like, them and Feeder were releasing.
Yeah.
And it would go in a pile of songs like Maybe Tomorrow. Like, one of those songs, like, I'm trying to think of a song, like, Maybe Tomorrow, 1,000 Trees, maybe, songs like that, which, on the day I was listening to it, it was like 30 odd degrees.
Yeah.
And it's that sort of chill out where you'll sit in the sun and you'll like have a few drinks or whatever, listen to that sort of stuff. And the one thing I pointed out about this song, and it's probably the only thing musically I actually pointed out about this song, because when you listen to that song, it does get dropped in there with Maybe Tomorrow and stuff like that. Yeah, because
it is more of the ballady style.
Yeah, and all their ballady stuff pretty much does sound the same, so there's not much to pick out between them, but his vocals sounded a lot better in that. Maybe it's because I haven't heard Kelly sing in a while. But
maybe, yeah. I mean, like, I've been keeping track of what they've been doing for a while, and that's actually something I noted when I wrote a few little notes. But it ain't the best Stereophonics song.
No,
We're not going to pretend it is, because I personally think Stereophonics are slightly on the decline now.
Yeah.
Even though the last couple they have had some really good songs out, like Indian Summer, and the one I'd said it's something I would add to my collection. Wouldn't be something I'd jump to. But then they released their last album. They did a song called I Want to Get Lost With You, and that's why I went and found this song, because I absolutely loved that song. But that was more of the ballady type, because I think that's the direction they're taking. If that's what they want to do, they've always done that. But I'd say I Want to Get Lost With You with a much better single than Fly Like an Eagle, and I wish that had been released like now. Because I really wanted just to hear what your thoughts were on the new this is 2019 Stereophonics.
Yeah.
Been going, 20 years, 25 years now?
I think the difference with Stereophonics that I listen to and new Stereophonics is I think they are the only band that don't want to go poppy.
Yeah, they're still trying to keep that rocky edge to it.
Yeah.
A bit like Bryan Adams, isn't he? But he did go a bit more poppy.
I think they want to avoid becoming another rock band.
Yeah,
the rock band of now.
I know that this is getting a bit off topic, but they don't want to become what Feeder have become.
No.
I mean, I listened to the new Feeder single yesterday, and it was like a generic pop song. And that's nothing against Feeder if that's the way they want to go.
I would say, is that off topic? Because it was...
Well, they are sort of the same thing.
Yeah, it's like Feeder, Weezer, Stereophonics...
Wheatus, even.
Wheatus, bands like that were all in the same group together. And I love Weezer. You've heard what Weezer's become, and you've heard what Fiend has become. And I think Stereophonics want to avoid becoming that.
Yeah, I mean, Stereophonics are at least still consistent. You know what you're going to get from a Stereophonics album. They did a song a couple of years ago called Indian Summer when I saw them, and a really good track. You know, I Want to Get Lost With You from 2 or 3 years ago. Great track. This one, Fly Like an Eagle, it's a good track. It's something I'd take. The new Feeder stuff, I'm not taking.
Yeah.
And that's the difference for me between Feeder and Stereophonics.
Which is why we turned down going to see them on their tour.
Yeah, especially for like, what, 40 quid?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too much. The next one, the one you've probably been looking forward to most, the Devin Townsend one. Kingdom.
I've played this song to so many people because I first played them like Devin Townsend's normal stuff and Strapping Young Lad. I then played them that. And their reaction was like, the jaw dropped like we saw a ghost or something like, it's like, that's the same guy?
Yeah, I mean, I did kind of spoil this a bit earlier with my notes, but still, because someone messed up. So I said it's great intensity from the drummer, it blended well with the vocals, and it sounded like heavy metal meets the West End.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded. It sounded like a performance. Now, when Devin Townsend did the last tour, he did the Leeds City Varieties.
He did that acoustic thing.
He did the acoustic thing. Now, I'm thinking, listening to this song, he should have played that on his normal thing. That's just what I got the vibe from. The drumming was the true star for this song for me. The drumming were just... Yeah. I mean, I looked at that drummer and this is what I actually genuinely wrote down. I genuinely wish he would leave Devin Townsend and join Avenged Sevenfold. Because he brought that much intensity to it. I want that back in Avenged Sevenfold.
Yeah.
I mean, if Slipknot's drummer hadn't kicked up this album, I'd have been saying the same for Slipknot. So my overall thing is, it was very enjoyable. Much to your surprise now.
Yeah, that is much to my surprise.
It hits hard in the opening, and I thought I would hate it. I really did when it first started. But then I didn't, and I happened to enjoy it a lot. And I will be adding that to my collection. It is this is like the most complimentary thing I think I could have ever said about it. It is a very beautiful, heavy piece of music. That is the best way to describe it.
That literally sums up everything that Devin Townsend writes seriously now. The one thing I will ask about that song, and obviously because you've had Strapping Young Lad play to you and stuff like that, and you've heard of Devin Townsend and some stuff he's done. Like... his vocals in the chorus.
Oh yeah, I mean,
not in the chorus, in the verse. Like you go from that really heavy punching riff into everything stops but the drums and a little bit of synth in it. Then suddenly it brings out that opera thing.
Yeah, which is where I likened it to the West End sort of.
Like, I want to know your reaction to that.
I loved it. I mean, I didn't expect it, but I actually thought it was really good. And it sounds really horrible, but I sat there thinking, this is what I want Cradle of Filth to do.
Cradle of Filth is an opera metal band.
Yeah, because he has the talent to do it, and he just doesn't do it. Maybe I'd like him more if they did. I don't know. I would have this to say: if their entire album was like that, I think I wouldn't want to listen to it. I think I'd get very bored of that genre very quickly. It'd be maybe a one single every now and again.
Me and you're going to sit down and listen to some Devin Townsend, I ain't going to lie.
Last but not least.
Right. I wrote so much about this song.
This is Alter Bridge's latest single off the Walk the Sky album. This is called Take the Crown. Now, I listened to this and purposely said you wasn't allowed to listen to this for this reason, so... Even though you stood there watching me bob away to it, and
you can go first with this.
Now, I loved it. I love the guitar work. I think Miles and Mark Tremonotti they've kind of clicked on this one. Of the three that they've released so far, From What the Sky, I thought it was probably the best. It's a good mixture of old Alter Bridge style meets new Alter Bridge style, but a lot more technical on the guitar, and you can see Miles has come a long, long way since that opening album, One Day Remains, when I believe it was 2004. You know, he's been working with Slash though, so I mean, I loved it. I loved it. I just did. I don't know what it was about. I mean, I'm a massive Alter Bridge fan anyway, and this one was the one where I'm really happy about the tickets to go see him. The first two I was like, yeah, I see what you're doing. This is now like, no, I really want to see this song. Like, they probably won't even play it now in my look. It'll be another Poison in Your Veins, or My Champion. It'll be another My Champion, one of my favourite songs I never play.
The first thing I am going to say about it is, Wouldn't You Rather is still the best single of the three, but none of them are bad.
Oh no, it's a consistent good. I mean, we're not talking this is going to be anything in the likes of Isolation or, you know, when that sort of stuff came out. My mind just went blank then. Addicted to Pain.
Yeah.
You know, when them two came out, they were massive singles. I don't see these having that on these new albums.
And this is what I'm going to say, like, it's probably the weaker single of the three, in my opinion, but it's not an album filler.
No.
If it can become one of those Alter Bridge anthems that everyone knows and everyone loves, even with it being the weaker single of the three. It's weird situation where it's like, it's a similar situation to what Slipknot were in, when before the album came out, you released 3 very good singles, and even though this is the weaker one of the 3, this is probably the one that's going to get more popular than the other 2.
Yeah. It might be one of them things as well that's like mainly for the live ones.
Yeah.
Because Alter Bridge have this habit of where they have certain singles they just play live. I mean, Blackbird wasn't really released. That's just, but they always play it because everybody wants to hear Blackbird. You know, it's just one of them now iconic songs for some reason.
And I think it'll be the same with Take the Crown.
I think Take the Crown could be that. I mean, I don't think they released Ties That Bind and stuff like that.
I don't think they did, no.
No, and that's another one where all of a sudden it's people want to hear these songs. Yeah. And I think, to be honest, that sort of says a lot about where Alter Bridge are as a band. They don't release any more of these big singles. It's more people appreciate what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's a good place to be.
But it's like literally, I'll put a lot of stuff down here, and I'm trying to decide what order to do this in, because they are all very complimentary.
Yeah.
So I did say it's a more complete sound, following Pay No Mind and What Wouldn't You Rather did. Yep. It is a more complete sound, and this is why I'm saying it's the worst single, but it's sort of a better single of them all as well.
Yeah.
The riffs aren't as heavy, even with Miles becoming a better guitarist, but it wasn't written to be that. It was written to be this anthem song, which Alter Bridge do a lot now. And it's like, you throw some... I put on here, they like to throw some like sort of more poppier songs onto the album, which aren't necessarily poppier songs, but they are one of the better bands at writing them.
Yeah.
Because they write a pop song, which is what the fan wants to hear, not a pop song to be a pop song.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of what Creed used to do back in the day. It's a more poppy song, but it's still got that rocky edge to it, which we appreciate.
It's like, those sort of songs, those sort of bands, I mainly put them towards like an actual song title by Silverchair, and it's called A Pop Song for Us Rejects.
Yeah. And
that is the type of pop song that these bands write. I also put that the little clean soul at the end of it is the perfect ending to a song, the way that feeds out at the end.
See, that was where I didn't like the Alice in Chains one, because it just stops, whereas that feeds out really nicely. And I just feel like sometimes you need that in a song. I
feel like on the actual album that's going to lead into some sort of guitar feedback into another song. It's going to fade in and fade out.
A lot on their albums, to be fair. I always like bands that do it. I mean, the biggest one is, for me, it's Mrs. Hyde and I Miss the Misery on the Hailstorm album.
Yeah.
They feed together perfectly. That's what I want to hear. Mike Hem did it on the Black Parade album a lot.
Yeah,
which I did really appreciate. More compliments.
Build up Miles' ego.
Yeah.
Because he has one after being with Slash for so long. These two tie in together, and I put them sort of in different places, because it's one I picked out in the first playthrough and one I picked out in the second playthrough. So I'll just put them both together in one big comment saying, the little strings and synths accompanying the riffs, I don't know if you heard them.
Yeah.
Obviously, I didn't want that to be just my musician ears picking that up. But accompanying the riffs, it's hiding in the back, but it emphasises them. It's a nice little touch to the riffs, which then goes into the extra sounds that we added into Pay No Mind and Take the Crown. I predict this to be a thing they're going with in this new album, but don't overdo it, because if half of the songs have the strings and synths into it, it can potentially ruin the album.
Yeah.
Which is my one criticism of a couple of the Tool albums. Like, there's that much reverb and everything on it. I know it's not the same as strings and synths, but too much of a good thing makes it bad.
Yeah. It's the old cowbell thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Like, I know...
You can never have too much cowbell. Well, you can.
Yeah, you can. But that's just my opinion on it. If you have less... I wouldn't say less synths, but have it on maybe 3 tracks.
Yeah.
Not like half the tracks. Like, put them into specific little areas. Put them over the top of a solo.
Yeah.
That's where it would work, but don't overdo it. Otherwise, that will actually just ruin the album.
Yeah.
But weak with the 3 singles, but probably going to be the most popular and better mainstream one.
That maybe grows on you. A lot of stuff by Already does tend to grow on you rather than instantly. I love this. It's more of a, it grew on me over time.
You see, I found the opposite with them, actually.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I found that the songs that I like from the word go are the songs that I stick with, like...
Now you need to remember.
Now I need to remember. Is that one I posted on... No, that one I posted on Snapchat.
Wait, Brand New Start?
Brand New Start, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I was just listening to it while at work, and then that chorus came on, I just stopped what I was doing and just...
Yeah.
I'll send that back and listen to that.
Yeah, it's... To be honest, I personally think the Blackbird album was the best album.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I don't know how much of that you've listened to. I know
all of it. I've got it all now. I've taken it all on Spotify.
Yeah, that for me was their best album. I'm not saying any of their other albums are bad because they're not. I'm just saying for me, the Blackbird album was the best one, and I'm so happy I got it tattooed. That's how much I love that album. But we'll have to see him in December, so it'll be a cool one to see for you. I mean, it'll be the 3rd time I've seen him now.
Yeah.
So,
but for me, like living through a world where Miles Kennedy's everywhere, not really listen to Alter Bridge.
Yeah.
I bet you're quite surprised that I actually took him on as a band I really like.
Yeah, I mean, I thought you'd have probably gone, I've heard enough Miles Kennedy with Slash.
I mean, you say you've heard enough Miles Kennedy.
Yeah, I mean,
you love Alter Bridge.
I'm a massive fan of Alter Bridge. I mean, I listened to the first two Slash albums, but because of Alter Bridge as well, and obviously there's Creed, who are very similar to Alter Bridge in many ways, just a different singer, because it is the same guys, so it's gonna be.
Yeah.
It's a case of Miles Kennedy's solo album, it's another Slash album, it's another Alter Bridge album. It's like, I'm never getting away from new material from Miles Kennedy, and I kind of want to keep Alter Bridge as my sacred one. And that's not to say that the other stuff's bad, it's just that I want to keep Alter Bridge as my sacred one and not get bored of him, which could very easily happen when you're producing that much music.
Oh yeah.
Credit to him for writing it all though.
Yeah, to be fair. Well,
that perhaps sums it up, doesn't it, really?
Yeah, if you haven't heard any of the songs, all the links to the songs will be in the description. If you want us to do songs that you listen to, put them in the comments.
Comments and we'll have a go.
That'll be an interesting one if people actually do that.
Yeah.
Unless if we sat here for 30 minutes.
Hey, that's not bad though. We did predict about 30 minutes, so...
If this one works out very well, then...
Might become a more regular thing.
Maybe, yeah, and there might actually be a video for this one instead of me having to edit and render it for about 16 hours.
Yeah.
But
leave it rendering and go to Manchester or Sheffield or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. But I hope you enjoyed the video, guys.
Like, share, subscribe. Anything else? I think that's it.
Yeah, share it with everyone.
Yeah. Thank you.
Cheers.